I just kept pinching myself all the time because it was just such an incredible experience down the Yukon River and mushing at nighttime with the dogs. You know, it's like Sergeant Preston of the Yukon. So it was just a phenomenal experience, and I wound up just falling in love with Alaska. I came up originally for 3 weeks, and I've been here now 20 years.
Alaskans of all time.
Right. He was originally from the Boston area, and when he was a kid in Harvard, he dropped out from college to go with Admiral Byrd on the very first American expedition down to the Antarctic, and he was the chief dog driver down in the Antarctic. Had a mountain named after him by Byrd, and so 65 years later, we mounted an expedition and went down to the Antarctic and climbed it and summited it 3 days before his 89th birthday.
We're talking Norman
Vaughn. And so he ran the Ididarod 13 times. The first time was at the age of 72. His last finish was at the age of 84. And he drove dogs since he was 12 years old. So he probably has drove dogs longer than any person has ever driven dogs because he drove them for 80 years. So, and he came to Alaska because it just spoke to his heart, and this is the place to be driving dogs. He was the first person from the lower 48 to come up and run in a championship sprint dog race up here, and he kept coming and driving over the highway 29 times, coming back and forth, and finally moved up here.
And Norman was with Admiral Byrd in 1929, was it?
Yes, 1928, 29, and 30. Wintered over down in the Antarctic, 42 of them. Built Little America, wintered over under the snow and ice, and then went out on a 3-month geological party with the Austral Summer, and they were also out as the rescue party if needed by Byrd when he made his famous flight over the South Pole.
And Byrd, of course, named one of the mountains
right
after Norman, and you and Norman happened to climb it back in the mid-90s.
Yes, we did. Yes, yeah.
Unbelievable. What could be next, Carolyn?
Well, I don't know what can be next. I've got several different things up my sleeve.
And Norman died at the age of 100.
Norman died 4 days after his 100th birthday. And he still had plans. We were going to go to the North Pole and do the last 5 miles by dog team.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Carolyn, it's a pleasure meeting you, and keep those adventures coming.
Thank you.
All the time. Everybody has a blast when they come out here, especially on a day like today. Like the last couple of days have been really foggy, but today is just amazing. You look around, you have the sun.